folks, and welcome back to the channel. So there's a common question that is going around, and we knew it would get to this point. We have covered this on the channel. We walked the routes, we played devil's advocate, and it is simply, when USTC burn? Now there's a lot of things to take into account when something like this gets brought forward, and this is sort of the historical evidence that is available. But something to take note of is the the overwhelming want to burn everything. Simply, if it's available, burn it. Doesn't matter if it could do a lot of good, it could do a lot of whatever, it doesn't matter, just burn it. Now, like I was saying, a lot of proposals passed in relation to this direct burning of the 800 million USTC. It's been a few weeks now since this proposal has passed. This was on the 14th of last month. This was the one that was stated that if this passes, this is the one that will commit that burn. So the wallet that those funds are held in, okay, it's not your everyday wallet. It's a multi-signature wallet. This requires more than a few people to perform a transaction. So that means you're going to need to get 3 different people together, right? That's not going to take too long to organize a 2-minute job of signing a multi-signature transaction, sending it back and confirming it and getting it put through. One thing we do know is throughout this whole thing, Risk Harbor have not publicly responded, right? They've not responded once. They've taken no credit for this whole, they're going to burn it as long as this proposal goes through. Normally you would see a company like this want to take credit for that. They'd want the good public relations that would come from burning this 800 million USTC. So like I was saying, right, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this USTC, and the bigger risk with this not actually being burnt is the motive then used and that sort of spearhead effect that people will use and say, well, look, they're not going to do what we're asking them to do, so we should just directly burn those ourselves. We should make a block-changing state upgrade and simply delete what coins we dictate as being non-functional or zombie or whatever label you want to put on them, right? That is always a risk now, because simply the community, the majority of people are not educated enough and they don't dive into things enough. In fact, a 25-minute video for some people is just too much information for them to absorb, and it's just all too much. So a lot of people don't dive into these longer explanation videos. So you're all simply going to go, yeah, let's burn it, not actually knowing that the way that they're going to burn it is totally against everything that DeFi is built on. It's against everything that our chain stands for. And once that happens, the whole chain's compromised. No one would ever want to come build here. I certainly wouldn't want to build here, and I wouldn't want to keep my projects here knowing that at any point I could go silent for a year and they could just delete all of my coins, my projects, everything. I just wouldn't hang about for that sort of risk. It's not something that is good. So the person behind this is Vegas. He's the person who brought this forward. Now, if this was me, what I would have done before even bringing the awareness of these funds to the community, I would have gone to Risk Harbor and I would have confirmed everything their side. Then I would have moved to a proposal, because all you do is cause chaos, right? You cause one of these sort of like mass catastrophe events in our sector, and all of the focus primarily just goes on these funds. And then for weeks and weeks afterwards, the primary focus is when USTC burn. And then what happens is that, you know, people begin to vent on people like myself. Oh, why hasn't the USTC burned? You done this, you voted for it, and why haven't you done it yet? And it's like, time and time again, people like myself, whilst these other people go silent, have to sit and answer for these things. They have to, you know, try and get the community to understand why this is happening time and time again. So if we go and we look at previous historical events, we've walked this path before with the same person, and it's this sort of, you know, and I'm always honest about people's behaviors, whether, you know, I've worked with them, if I'm friends with them or whatever, you're still going to get an honest opinion. And honestly, we've seen this before, this sort of want and need to stay relevant, finding funds by simply just going to somewhere like Lunc Dash, looking at the top holders and going, oh, look, there's 800 million USTC in this wallet. Oh, whose wallet's this? Oh, well, it belongs to Risk Harbor, and it's not hard. It's like a 24-hour job at most. And then all of a sudden, all of the focus goes on this. And something that really kind of irritated me recently is the quant team stating that they've been chasing this 800 million USTC. What? Oh, we've been sidetracked with that because we've been looking into that. And what is there to look into? There's a wallet. Risk Harbor own it. They've said they're not going to burn it publicly yet. What more is there to know at that point? Move forward, move on, keep building what you're going to build. Something I think a lot of people cease to understand about the USTC repeg is if you look at the data, you look at everything, it's all got to come down a real long way before the repeg even begins. And what I mean by that is price wise. The likelihood of it repegging at 10, 20 cents is a very small probability. And the reason why is whatever you peg it at, we've got to be able to have that liquidity there on standby. The way they're probably going to do that is by linking it together again through the market module with Luna Classic and USTC. It's one of these situations, right, where you're never prepared for all of the different alternate outcomes, or you're not prepared with the correct information. So then when we do get to these points of people disappearing and not giving any information whatsoever about what's going on, and you're sort of left in the dark, and then you begin to chase your own tail, you get angry, you get upset, and then you go and you vent on the next random person. So what I believe is with this USTC burn is the same with this multi-signature wallet. Forget about it, right? Just forget about it. If they're going to burn it, they're going to burn it, okay? It'll be a great surprise for all of us at this point. But ultimately, right, we don't have the ownership of those coins, right? That's like me saying, right, okay, you haven't used this wallet for X amount of time, we're burning all of your coins. Like, it just doesn't work like that. People like, for instance, my parents, I gave them both some USTC and some Luna Classic back in May, right? They've not gone into those wallets. They've not withdrawn any of their staking rewards. They've not done anything because we simply put it on there. They could see it. Then we deleted it. And all they've got is their monomics. So when they want to go back in 2-3 years' time, it's going to be there. Even if we decided to ourselves as a community and as developers, okay, fine. What we're going to do is, any USTC that hasn't moved for 2 years, it gets burnt. No. You just can't do those things, right? It's not okay. This is the whole point of like NFTs becoming lost and you not being able to retrieve them. It's wallets that you've lost access to. You can't find the monomics. And, I know people that have lost $100,000 upwards, emailing me day in, day out, how can I get into this wallet? There's no way you can do it unless someone introduces a block-changing state upgrade, which introduces a god line of code, which enables somebody to do that. And it really becomes that simple. Once you introduce that line of code, it becomes public. You put it in a PR, you merge it, boom. You've just given someone God access to the system. And all they've got to do is bury that into the very smallest update or even the very biggest update. So like I was saying, right, this whole USTC burn, when, where, who, why, I don't know. But honestly, what I do know is as a community, it's not healthy for us to dwell on things like this. It's out of our control, right? We have absolutely no control over this. The proposer's not responding. Risk Harbor are not responding. And I think that's as far as it's going to go at the moment. This, to me, is probably going to be the last time I speak about this funds until they're burnt or until we get an official update. But honestly, folks, try not to dwell on it too much more, okay? You've seen this once before. You've seen a historical event of way more than this previously, way more, upwards in the millions. It really didn't matter then. It doesn't matter now. And it's the same thing over and over again. It's these same tactics. And sometimes I think to myself, right, it's all to pull the community away from what's actually important. And this idea of keeping us running on the spot, keeping us moving in one place. and sort of hanging a carrot in front of us to make us forget about the bigger picture. Let me know what you folks think about all of this. Let me know what you think about the USTC burn, what I've spoken about here. If you're against the idea of what I'm saying, and if you think we should introduce God changes to delete all of the coins in existence and we should just burn everything, your opinion is valid here. Let us know. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.